Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Oh, fans on. The sweater makes me look, wow. Holy, yes. Okay. Everyone stay. It's nap time. You had rawhides, don't get up. You stay. Let's not have to do the door. I don't edit. You know that. You don't because you're puppies, but okay. All right, so today we're going to look in Ezekiel. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever I say. Fire up your heart, children of God, and that's you, and that's you, and that's me. I hope all of you. Ezekiel and chapter 10. But we're going to just do the brief reading of Ezekiel because I want to be more hopeful. And I think sometimes I get a little bit the other way. Although I'm not alone and kind of feeling like there's just all these societal collapses going on at the same time, but that at the same time we also want to fix ourselves on the positivity of Christ and spreading the gospel, the good news. But Ezekiel, a priest and prophet, ministers during the darkest days of Judah's history. And we'll probably be seeing a little more darkness before we see full light, but there's plenty of people that want to get to the light now. I believe they do. Every day, there's still a little bit of resistance of wanting to go to the light. There seems to be a lot of fear right now of why would we ever want to put anyone in a concentration camp or just ship them off for no reason. There's all these rumors and gossip going around to cause like mass hysteria. We just don't want the kids indoctrinated. We want the kids to be kids. Keep your sexuality to yourself. Like, these are just basic rules of humanity. So this was during the darkest period of Babylonian captivity, carried to Babylon before the final assault on Jerusalem. It was a 70-year period. So then it was almost, you could say almost all of a sudden, or maybe I don't know the exact time, but Ezekiel uses prophecies, parables, signs, and symbols to dramatize God's message to his exiled people. Though they are like dry bones in the sun, God will reassemble them and breathe life into the nation once again. Present judgment will be followed by future glory, so that ye shall know that I am the Lord. 6:7. So if I hope I have this correct, it was like a 70-year judgment on the nation for turning away from God and doing things in the occult that they shouldn't have been. Money, power, abuse of power. The Hebrew name, so sorry I don't pronounce things correctly, Yehezke, and then like the top, like comma, and then upper, and like a L or I. Ezekiel means God strengthens, or strengthened by God. Ezekiel is indeed strengthened by God for the prophetic ministry to which he is called. Chapter 3, verses 8 and 9. The name occurs twice in this book and nowhere else in the Old Testament. The Greek form in the Septuagint is Ezekiel, and the Latin from in the Vulgate is Ezekiel. I'm not going to spell time of the vision. So first part, we're going to, his calling was 3, 8, 9. We could do that quick. 3, 8, and 9. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. As an adamant harder than flint have I made the forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Ezekiel is instructed about his ministry. He said unto them, Heather, can you sit still while you're reading? I don't know what's going on, Lord. What's the deal? I think I literally do that when I'm reading out loud. I entertain myself. I kind of exercise. It's bizarro. Charo. Oh, Ezekiel is instructed about his ministry. Okay, it's a serious disaster in Israel. That's the first part of chapter 3, the calling for Ezekiel to go and speak with the people. 10 is a very visionary. It ends up very visionary. We can nice to really go wild in my imaginary with this one. But I think I really thought maybe I was indoctrinated into the idea that any sort of satellites, surveillance systems, towers, the idea of a spaceship, any use of the airways of any sort of technologically advanced spying system was bad. And when you would start to see more of that, you would know that judgment is near. I don't know. I might have just come up with that. I really didn't. That was how I saw it. But then the rapture was really heavy in churches, and that was really throwing me off because I was like, it's just not lining up. Like, why would Jesus come back twice? It's final judgment. Or he would have already just taken the people with him that weren't supposed to be here during the hard times. Hard times. No food, lack of food. You're forced to go into a system you don't want to, or any number of arrays can happen. Now that can turn around though. See, it was 70 years captivity. God could have made it more. There's been more longer captivities. And that's the question I think as Americans we need to ask ourselves. How long do we want to be captivity to this bizarro charos? Okay, this is going to start getting long now, and them having the rawhides is like literally God sent. They weren't as well behaved when they were younger with it. And it turned into more of like having to keep them from taking the other one. And you don't want to, that's not fun for no one. So the fact that we've been able to mature in that area. But I think if I left them alone, and they know, and the house is quiet inside, but you can hear some of the floors, and they don't know there's vents that went down. If it would have been like the old, I don't know if it would have been charcoal or what, but system, it would have been like a chimney or something. I don't really know. I've heard more noise when I go down the stairs, so either they're being brats, trying to get the other one, or me, real quick, because I hear it. They don't. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims. Just need some water. Apologize. Just water. 4 whole months, almost, or so. Yeah. with no, tonics made out of potatoes instead of pharmaceuticals, but same difference, I guess. Departure of the glory of God to the threshold. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims, there appeared over them, as it were, a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. And he spake unto the man clothed with linen, and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, and fill thine hand with coals of fire from between the cherubims, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. This is something different. This may not be the one I was thinking of. Just ignore what I said earlier about relating this to the satellite. I don't think this is the one. Now, the chair, verse 310 of Ezekiel, if you need a spelling on Ezekiel, Ezekiel, always messed it up myself. I used to be an amazing speller for some reason. I always have trouble with sentence structure. But through some Zappa traps, I lost a lot of my spelling, and I'm sure the plug in the jug is good. 4 months or more. Yes. Command to slay the wicked. That's weird that I went to that one. It's at the top of the column. Oh God, command to slay the wicked. So this is in weeping of Ezekiel. Ezekiel is weeping. He does not want to go. Call to the 6 men. Ezekiel's intense. There's a lot of visionary in here. If you have an imagination, it's quite fun. There's many colors, ideas, like right out of just looking, doves, mourning. There was, and I hope they're still here, a good batch of mourning doves now. Mourning. I hope that that's who plucks around in the attic and then they kind of go up. But I need this for future house owners to know. It isn't like super paramount, but I think you really need a camper if you want to take it down to the brick, seal up the brick if you want to really do the whole haul. Because there is some moisture getting in, and it's up by the chimney. The other part is, if you were to just take it all out, go original. The other part is, there is a little plucker. And then we don't know, there's something with the top of the sunroom roof, or something goes into the eaves troughs, hops into somewhere we don't know. It's got to be the mourning doves, which really, if you think about it, is kind of cute. Okay? They're not flying around in the house, because when you wake up in the morning and you look out the little window, you're going to see the mourning doves, and they'll be coming out soon. You're going to see how big the family got. And if you listen, that's what's plucking around. I think they live in the one attic. I'm not certain. Don't kick them out. Just, you're going to have to be a nature person. There's a lot more dragonflies. You can treat the pond, put a pump, put fish in it, but the kids, don't be swimming. No one's to be swimming in that pool. Make it a fish pond. You can make your own ecosystem to control the mosquitoes. There's a lot of lowland here. You can make it work. You've got the huge fence separated from the motorcycle thingy, and it's just, you're in your own thing. And that's that. So this is very visionary. And I was going to say it was good news, but it's technically when God lets the angels bring wrath down. And then it's the vision of the 25 wicked rulers, so there's major judgment. And that's that. And I don't know, they were doing sun worship. And then I don't know if I had told you, but I still always think it's just because the middle is the Lord when I was really in despair. I mean, nothing was making an ounce of sense. I'm having just, like, point is he always brought me to chapter 5. And it's probably not even biblically analyzed correctly, but that there was going to be a time in my life, in my son's life, that there was going to be a major division, and that I was part of the group of this when he's splitting the hairs. And it was extremely important that absolutely nothing was going to make sense. I was the bad guy for a long time. That's the way it's supposed to go. He was gathering this thing up. He was gathering the evil up. They were getting stupid, sloppy, ready to just off me. He had to gather it up. I don't know. Destruction of high places. I will have to say I always like that one because it's literally about a big whooping to the rulers of the universe or the earth that keep doing these wrong agendas on the people. The taxes need to go bye-bye. This needs to stop. This overtaxation in countries some places like Austria and stuff, it is completely uncomprehendable what they've done to the people. I know, I guess that's it. Just look that over, I guess. That was the hope of the story. It was only 70 years, and God turned it around. But there was major judgment and catastrophes before the people finally said, okay, we need to get back to natural law. We need to protect the farmers, the ranchers, the children. Without the farmers and ranchers, we can't properly feed the children and the pregnant mothers and the fathers. I mean, this should not be even a question. That should never be a question in a free country. We should be allowed to have 4 chickens in a spot where the dogs have no idea they're there, and that can't happen. So, but if we had raised them with baby chickens, it's been a different story. You might have been seeing them with chickens sitting on them. I've heard of that. Even with strong breed dogs. As long as they're young enough, there's a new neighbor, and he barks for, I don't want to say an hour, but it's kind of sad. I don't know why he's barking that long outside. Because he would be cold. I don't think that's him. Or her. That's fine, but they're like letting the dogs poop in the front yard. So since I can't really freely walk the dogs, I guess I'll just make it into like a neighborhood dog park, and they can all poop up there. Would you guys like that? Okay, we gave a bunch of free stuff on the road that didn't seem to matter. And some of it was actually pretty good. And then he just kept batting away, and just make it into and you all have over an acre, so I guess you gotta have your dogs poop over here, but alright, whatever you want to do, I guess. No, we didn't buy the house or anything. John's hard-earned money. None of that. And my money, I get money. A lot less, but enough to help. So it's not just nothing. That's it. So, pups are good. And they're probably gonna want to go investigate. What's the other funny thing? We left kind of like a triangular shape of taller grass. I should have did it. Now I know. The bunny's like this vine thing out front, and it goes in like a dome. The person that was here, I think they grew it into like a dome, and then it's open inside. And I think the bunnies, they have like a little canal and then they can come out. So I should have put the tall grass by there, and I'm going to do that this year. I'm going to add it for the bunnies. Well, I was looking out the one night, the way the light comes down on the snow. And I was just seeing these bunny well, I figured it was a bunny, but it was like there was no beginning and no end in a way. So they made a little tunnel under the snow in this one spot, and they hop over to where the taller grass is, and then it just kind of disappears. I don't see even another anything. So I'm kind of excited to go out and look. There was quite a few feet like that, and they just stayed in the same. And so we're going to have a little area by the dome thing, and that will be like the bunny village. That's cute. All right, gotta go.